give us a wave. Karunavira and Taravajra. Hello, hello. They're there in the corner. They'll unmute themselves in just a second. But in the meantime, just a short bio about these two wonderful people who, as I understand it, are quite competitive. And that. So this
No,
will be
you
an
weren't
interesting hour.
you weren't meant to say that.
I wasn't meant to say that, but I thought it was a bit of a quirk. But quite competitive, long-term friends here in these two wonderful people. Both started teaching MBCT together in Brighton 20 years ago, back in 2005. And if you don't know these people, I think it's very fair to say. I mean, I am very familiar with Taravajra. Karunavira, you and I are newer friends, I think. So lovely to cross paths with you. But both of them are very highly experienced trainers, retreat leads, and supervisors. You know, so really think about that as we're going through today. Particularly if you're looking for supervision support, or you're looking to do some work with maybe different people that you've not been introduced to before. But both of them work within the UK, but also internationally as well. And I'll drop this in. There is a retreat coming up that is being held by the Mindfulness Network, but Karunavira and Taravajra will be leading that retreat from the 28th of November until the 3rd of December. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to you two to take the stage. And yeah, thanks very much for being here.
Thank you, Stephanie, and thank you, Sally, for the invitation to be here. And thank you for all the hard work you do at Bamba. Very important work. And yeah, welcome everybody. If you're here, you need to be here, just as you are. Just a little correction, I'm not running the retreat in November, but Karunavira is. So yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Yeah, so we're looking at this theme of how to involve and engage people we teach, whether that's one-to-one or drop-ins or in you know, 8-week courses or whatever. I suppose it's a theme that we've been interested in over many years. What is it that we're doing? What effect do we have on the people we're teaching? How much responsibility do we have for people's learning? I think that's a good question. And how to breathe more life into our teaching. How do we teach in a way that really takes good care of ourselves? So these are all really important questions. And I'm hoping that over the course of this session, we'll be able to explore these in some way. So we're going to do some practice, and we'll kind of take it from there. So I'll hand over to Karunavira to do some guide us in practice.
Okay. So welcome everyone. I'd really love it if we could practice together for about 12 minutes. So however you are situated, could you find a way of sitting that's going to leave you a little bit more energized, a little bit awake and present? So small adjustments to the body, perhaps. If that helps, I mean, does that help? Can we just sense how, as we do this, how small adjustments to the neck and head or shoulders, just sensing how that might be helpful. Taravajra is just sorting out the dog. Okay, and I'm going to close my eyes and just notice whether that's helpful for you. The dog's whining now. Yeah, so settling into this unfolding experience, whether the eyes are closed or looking down, and seeing, just noticing how it is different as we stop, if that's possible. And maybe at the start of this short practice, just for a moment, we might revisit, you know, why do we do this thing called meditation? Why is it that I do this from time to time? How does it support what I care most about in the world? How does it do that? Why am I doing this? What's it about? Just letting that little question hover. So waking up the heart maybe a little. And then matching how we are in this moment, how we sense we are, including that in how we might approach this little bit of time. Really, this lovely act of befriending ourselves, meeting ourselves as we are. I'm going to guide a short practice, and you may want to guide yourself. You could turn the volume down and do that, or you might be happy to be guided. And notice that choice. And feel free to engage as much or as little as you feel is okay for how you are right now. So this is an invitation to involve yourself if you want, the whole of you. So we might remember how helpful it is to find our sort of sensations arising in the body. Perhaps the sensations where we make contact with the ground. Just seeing if that's helpful. If we bring our attention to perhaps the feet, the soles of the feet, perhaps the chair or cushion. What is it like when we bring our attention to these places? What is it like if we add a little bit more detail? Just a slight amount of detail, like the warmth where the feet touch the floor, or the coolness. Or the warmth or coolness of the cushion or seat. What happens when we add a little bit more detail to this? I mean, how do we know there is a cushion or chair? What's happening right now that tells us the support is there? And one of these places might provide a helpful anchor or companion for this time practice. Or you might be wanting to choose a different anchor or companion, like the breath in a particular place, or the sense of space around the body. So just take a moment or two to really sense what might be a supportive sense experience that's kind of reliable and safe, available to us. A companion for this short practice. And is it possible to make a clear decision? Does that feel helpful? And if it does, really beginning to rest into the unfolding moments in this place. As best we can. And perhaps noticing when we might refresh this connection, when it gets a little bit divided or vague. Oh yeah. Just breathe a little bit more interest into the detail. Ah. And checking whether we're being a bit too forceful or a bit vague, just adjusting as we go. Can we sense awareness happening? And can we sense when awareness is less? Is friendliness here? And then see if we can just introduce a little thought about a transition. Just gently let that thought float into the mind. Remembering what kind of process we might find helpful as we make a transition from this inner landscape back to the outer world of the screen and the group. Maybe some movements, the shoulders or fingers, maybe a deepening breath or two. Remembering what we find helpful and beginning that process, not rushing, if that's okay, giving it its full attention. And arriving back when we're ready to engage in a different way. Whoa. Oh, thank you. I needed that. Thank you so much. Yeah, over to Taravajra.
Thank you, Karunavira. So we're going to invite you now to go into breakout rooms to just speak a bit about what your experience of that practice was like, and how engaged you felt, how involved you felt. And there's no standard you have to reach. You know, everyone here is different. Everyone has got different experience of practicing mindfulness, teaching mindfulness, and you know, how you are today obviously plays a big part in that. So you could explore together, were there any elements in the guidance which awoke your interest? Any elements in the guidance that dulled your interest? Yeah, and then maybe we could come back with some headlines to share with the whole group. So just if we have about 5 minutes in the small groups to talk together about your experience of that practice. And I think Steph's going to make the rooms for us. Oh, she's inviting you to join the group. So I realise my document's got things on it that your one doesn't have.
Are you struggling to get inside the group?
Yes, somehow I've ended up back here. Can I be pinged back in again?
Yeah.
Thank you. I was in group 4.
Yep, no bother.
Thank you. Oh, I'm going to a different room now. Room 1. Great.
Yeah, I can't put you back in the same one, sorry.
And you've got 13 groups.
We've got a couple of people that haven't joined the rooms. Susie said that the internet isn't good enough for her to be off camera.
Okay, no
On camera.
worries.
I don't know about the other person.
Yeah,
So we've got about 9 groups.
13 it said. Oh no, that's the number of
That's chats.
chats.
So look at the chats.
Oh, you
And we've
did.
ended up with a couple of rooms with 5 in where people have bounced out and had to go back in, and I can't put them in the same room again. But overall, there are about 3 or 4.
What I do, Steph, is I make one extra room, and then I've got an extra room to play with. Usually.
Okay. Do you want me to move them now, or is it too
No,
late?
that's fine. No, it's
No, I'll
fine.
leave it. Okay, thanks.
Just sharing a bit.
In the future, yeah, thank you.
I think we're doing fine with time.
Yeah, are we on mute?
No.
Just let me know when you want the rooms closed and people brought back.
Could you close the rooms now, Steph?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Do they get a minute?
They get 1 minute. Yeah.
Yeah, that means I've had 6 minutes.
Okay, well, that's fine.
It's good.
So we go through to 1:30, don't we?
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been interesting to know how people see this at the beginning when it's a starting point, but maybe put it in chat. Okay,
So people are starting to come back now.
okay.
Hi, Martine. Lovely to see you.
5 seconds.
Hi, KV. Hi.
That's it. We're in good shape.
I think everybody's back.
Everybody's back. Thank you.
Good. Welcome back, everybody. And yeah, it'd be great just to hear. We know you didn't have much time to speak together, but it was just to kind of start exploring these themes a bit. And we'll continue to develop the themes in the next period of our time together. But it'd be great to hear maybe from one person in each group about any themes or headlines that emerge for you around these topics of engagement and interest in relation to the practice or more generally. So yeah, if you'd be happy just to come off mute and share a headline from your group, that would be great, or put it in chat if you prefer. And then if someone else has said something that we were talking about, maybe if there's something additional that hasn't been mentioned, that could be brought in. Yeah, so you can either do the digital hand or yeah, maybe that's best because I'm on an old computer. I've got 2 screens. So if you know do you know how to do that? In the react button at the bottom, raise hand like this. Yeah, and then lower hand. Yeah. So if you've got something you'd like to share with the group, please come in.
Sarah.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Sarah, go
Sarah.
ahead.
Hello. Yeah, I think the thing that stuck out for me is the little mini choices that you usually take for granted that KV guided us through, like are the adjustments helpful as you're settling into your posture? So like little micro choices. That felt like it kept it alive for me.
Right. Yeah, micro choices. Yeah, a bit more detail perhaps. Yeah. Thanks, Sarah. Anybody else?
We've got something in the chat that says from Claire Louise. We enjoyed the casual questions, but then also wondered if that brings the mind into practice for those that might be less experienced.
Brings the mind in.
Well, it involves the mind more than is helpful. Yeah.
Ah.
Good point. Very good.
Yes, I guess everything has
Pros and
pros and
cons.
cons,
Yeah.
impacts in different ways. Yeah, thanks. Anybody else? Yeah, Nikki.
Nikki, yeah.
Yes, I found myself finding the word companion quite interesting, and it felt really friendly. And I liked the idea of having a sense that was a companion for the practice, just kind of
Right. And so I'm guessing that felt engaging. You maybe hadn't heard that before so much, or so there's something about less familiar language sometimes that helps us.
Yeah.
I thought maybe an emotional aspect to the guidance. The companion's more emotional than an anchor.
Thanks, Nikki. Yeah, any more observations or experiences?
we have one. We have one here.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah. I've got Dr. Sands McCutcheon written on the screen.
Yeah, we talked about language and the word companion. That was a shared experience in our group. Speaking directly and personally from my own practice experience, I felt there was a real warmth of compassion underwriting all the language choices from the beginning, about befriending oneself, that sense of warmth conveyed in the language. So for me personally, that felt really connecting from a place of the heart, rather than just thinking about our experience, but it brought a real emotional friendliness and felt like a really compassionate practice.
And that really helped you to connect with the practice yourself.
Yeah, that sense of, softening in and being kinder to myself, having, we all come from different parts of our day. So a real sort of warmth towards myself, my body, my doingness in the language.
Yeah, lovely. Thanks. Thank you so much. And I can see Claire Louise, you've got your hand up.
Yeah. Hi. The other thing that we talked about in our group and liked was, and I don't remember exactly what it was, how it was said, but it was something around how do you know when awareness is kind of alive and vivid, and then how do you know when it dulls? So yeah, there was sort of questionings into awareness itself.
Right. And that helped you feel more engaged with the practice?
Yeah, it sort of helped me wonder about awareness, and when it drifts off, how is it that I know that? There was a sort of wondering. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Stephanie.
I very much enjoyed the whole invitation to just notice why we do this in the first place. Why do we do this thing called meditation? And in a way, it just opened up curiosity that carried me through most of the rest of the practice. So
yeah,
I really loved that. Yeah. Very, very helpful.
So kind of back to basics.
Yeah.
Why am I doing this?
Why am I doing this? Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. Thanks, Stephanie.
We just have one more comment, if that's okay. I'll just read that out from Camilla. Keeping curiosity alive throughout the practice, as well as having the autonomy to make our own choices.
Yeah. Maybe that's an interesting link, isn't it?
Yeah.
Autonomy and interest.
Okay, well, it's really lovely to hear all those words. Just wanted to pick up on that point that, there is a tension between, the use of questions and stimulation of the conceptual mind, and depends where you are with a group and how experienced a group is, and whether you're in a drop-in or a retreat. But that's something to keep an eye on, really. But how do we involve people? So there's this wonderful, wonderful Confucian phrase that you might have come across in a mindfulness network training, which we use, which is, tell me I forget, teach me I remember, involve me I learn. I'm going to say that again. So tell me I forget, teach me I remember, involve me I learn. So I'd like you to just, in your own mind, if it's okay, if you're with me, you might not be with me, and that's okay. But if you are, just savor those words. Tell me, teach me, involve me. See if there's a kind of, can you get inside those words? Not concepts, but the tell me. I think of my parents, headmasters, policemen. Teach me, I think of some, something else. Involve me. Oh, that sounds scary. Yeah, so just wondering how those words land. So the word involve, it's from the Latin volvere. It means to roll in. And if you watch a dog rolling in horse manure, you can't get more involved than that. Involve means to roll in. And so the question is, how do we get our participants to roll in mindfulness? How do you get to roll around in it? And kind of like dog. Can you see that dog? Joyful, rolling in. So that's the question we're liking to ask ourselves in this little time together. How do we involve ourselves as teachers? Because for me, if I'm not really involved, I get tired, fed up, and I start to say, it doesn't work. How do I stay involved? I think probably I've taught the 8-week course several hundred times, many hundreds of times. How do I involve myself in the raisin exercise? Or in a moment of inquiry when someone says, I fell asleep. How do we do that? Because that's what I think makes teaching fun and not draining. And that's what I think, us with Taravajra and I, we're really passionate about. Yeah, that's where learning happens. And we might learn about that in inquiry, don't we? We learn, how do we involve people with the inquiry process? And we study that. But I think it's the whole business. It's the whole, every time we try and communicate something important, be it mindfulness or something else, how do we involve the person in front of us? How do we get them to join in? What does that take? And I think that's what we're going to be exploring in the next little bit of time. And there's this thing I wanted to quote from the new MBSR curriculum update. Taravajra put into AI, what are the main differences between the old and the new MBSR? There's fun. And this is an important quote from that AI document about what is the difference. Quote, it emphasizes the teacher's embodied presence and capacity to respond moment to moment rather than deliver the script. Yeah. And I think there are times in a teaching session when I do tell people, I say the toilets are down there, the Zoom button is here, and there's times when I teach them something, and there's hopefully 90% of the time when the word driving my teaching will be involve them all. Involve. So excuse the noise. Yeah, so that's what we're looking at today. And in a way, we're just starting this because it's a big, big topic about how people learn. And there are many learning styles, many different learning styles. But I think whatever learning style you're in, I think this principle of involvement applies. Whether you're a conceptual learner, visual learner, whatever, still applies. So I'm going to hand over to Taravajra and we're going to take this a little bit deeper.
Yeah. So something I wanted to just add in is, my sense that when we're teaching mindfulness, it's not all down to us as a teacher in terms of what our participants learn about or feel. In fact, there are many other factors at play, how they're feeling, their learning style, what's going on for them at that particular moment. But I guess this is one area we've got some degree of influence over. How alive do we feel when we're teaching? How do we make the way we teach? How do we involve people in that teaching? And I suppose we are contrasting embodied, involved learning with more didactic learning. Although of course there is a place for that as well. So it's not like anything's excluded. But I wanted to invite you now just to reflect in your own way on your own experience of teaching mindfulness, or indeed of having been taught mindfulness by other people. So if you just want to take up a posture which helps you to reflect, that might mean closing your eyes or looking away from the screen, just making yourself comfortable in whatever way you want to. You could stand if you want to stand. We've been sitting for a while. So the reflection is really just to inquire into your own experience about when you felt most alive when you've been teaching or when you've been taught mindfulness, and what elements have helped you feel engaged and involved in the process of teaching. Just seeing what comes with that kind of, with those kind of questions. When I've been teaching mindfulness, what's helped me to feel more engaged, alive and present? And what's helped me to teach in a way that enhances that experience in my participants? So this might involve methods of teaching or attitudes of teaching, taking risks, moving away from scripts, connecting, befriending. Yeah, so just for a moment, seeing what comes, what arises in relation to those questions. And as always, allowing your experience to be whatever it is. Maybe your mind's somewhere else, or you don't really want to look at these things right now, that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to invite you once again to go into a breakout room, maybe 2 or 3 other people.
The same groups.
I don't know if it'll be the same.
Right.
So yeah, thanks, Stephanie. Yeah, so let's take another 5 minutes to explore any responses to those reflections that we had. Oh, there's another question, isn't there?
Yeah, it's okay. I think they'll come out. We've mentioned that. Are we muted?
Sally. I've just seen somebody enter the waiting room, but I'm not going to let them in until they've come out of the breakout rooms, just so you know.
Yeah. Might we lose them? I think this happened last time and somebody went off.
Can you
could-
put a message into the
I'm
wait?
putting a message on there, yeah.
Thanks.
Are you messaging the person in the waiting room?
Well, I was trying to, but it won't let me now.
Do you want me to try?
Yeah, can you try? Might because I'm co-host rather than host.
What do you want me to say? We just
Say,
we
just say if they can just hold for 60 seconds, that'd be fine. Let me know when you're ready for me to close the rooms.
The full foundation.
Yeah, you could do that now.
Done.
Thanks.
No bother.
I'll stop that then.
So I wonder what the best way to get just ask people to speak, I suppose.
Yeah,
It's quite a
same.
big group.
Well,
They're
themes
either,
again.
yeah, they've either got to speak or put it in chat.
Yeah, same. I think it's the same process. Maybe I'll come on screen a bit, so it's not. Yeah. A bit odd. Go back a bit. Yeah, there we are.
Okay, here we go. Welcome back. So we've got some time once again just to hear briefly any themes that have emerged, what helps you to stay more engaged and involved. And I suppose when we look at these kind of questions, it's always helpful to look at the other side. Sometimes we call it the dark side, don't we? The what gets in the way. Because we can learn a lot from that too. You know, what stops me feeling involved, what leads me to start, you know, teaching in inverted commas in a more didactic kind of way. Is it when I lose confidence, or you know, I get attached to a certain outcome for my students? There are lots of ways that can happen. So yeah, just a chance again to share in the group any themes that have emerged for you. Because I guess we saw this, you know, brief session as a chance to open up some of these areas for you to contemplate and carry on exploring in supervision or with colleagues or just in your own experience of teaching. And we definitely don't have the last word, obviously, or even the early words. Yeah. But we thought it'd be worth opening up the questions. So yeah, please come in if you've got anything you'd like to say. Yeah, Lucy.
I think key for some of our group was this: once you know the curriculum, then you can let go of the curriculum a bit. And it's when you talked about the dark side, the still having to think, oh, what comes next and what can get in the way of that ability to involve yourself completely as a teacher. And I think
Yeah,
just the more you
Yeah.
do it, the more familiar, then the more you can let go. And then in some ways you become more engaged the longer you teach, rather than,
yes,
you know what I
yes.
mean?
Thank you, Lucy. That I think we can all recognise
Yeah.
that that's part of learning a skill, isn't it? I mean, if we think about learning to drive, you know, we start off having to really pay attention to. I mean, if you drive a car with the gears, you know where that's going, and then we just get used to it, don't we? And then, I mean, I remember, yeah, definitely going through a phase of feeling I really do know the curriculum well enough, and now I can concentrate much more on my students, and I'm sure that's a process we're all familiar with. Yeah, thank you. Sarah Linda, hello.
Hello, hi. Yeah, one of the things that I find really helpful is the curiosity, and in fact, almost more than curiosity, but a real, genuine interest in what's happening right now.
Yeah.
For the not just for the participant, but actually also for me. So if there is a sense of like, oh, you know, I need to make sure these learning themes are coming out, or then just being able to notice that and just let that be there as part of the experience.
Yes.
So yeah, for me there was something about when Karunavira, in the previous practice, you talked about involving the whole of ourselves, and that, which I find that very helpful. So yeah, it's just having the willingness to bring the whole of myself into this teaching space, and to be really interested in what's happening for them.
Thank you, Sarah Linda. Yeah, I think that's really important, isn't it? The more we can be open to our experience, whatever it may be, that seems very important to help us stay more involved and engaged, because we're, you know, allowing ourselves to have the experience of, you know, whatever it may be. We may be reacting to somebody, or we may feel confused, or we don't know what to say.
Yeah.
All these things can happen. And, you know, this word curiosity, it really does, you know, symbolize that sense of, well, I'm not being carried away by this. I'm not just buried in it. You know, I've got some awareness of it. You know, just in that sort of simple word, there's a lot that goes on. Yeah, thanks so much. And something either speaking or in the chat. What helps you, or what gets in the way of, you know, this feeling engaged or involved in your teaching? Yeah, and of course this can be quite personal. Maybe we want to just reflect on it personally. Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you. I suppose we talked about around sort of a dialectic between sort of playfulness and seriousness at the same time. So being playful, sort of like you said, getting involved and make some lightness there, and at the same time, you know, this is serious. This is hard work. This is you know, bringing the difficult and so forth. So how we work the edge that's appropriate at the time, and how we read ourselves and the room, and I suppose it just knowing we both in Bangor, and that shows up a lot. Like he shows up here, that sort of playfulness, and at the same time, then you know, being really present with people, connecting what's happening, not just what they're saying, but their body language, the tone of voice, and so forth. So, and how you can be much more present with them by knowing how they are in this moment, not just through language, not this verbal language.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan, and thank you for naming that kind of tension in a way between playfulness and, you know, we're often dealing, and people are dealing with quite serious matters, but yeah, I think humour, playfulness, have got an important role to play. I bumped into somebody on the Bangor conference a year or so ago who had done a study on humour enriched mindfulness, and of course I said to him, are you having a laugh? But it did seem that people got better outcomes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've started doing humour enriched supervision.
So, I want to add to Ryan. I think the tension for me, working with it means really working from the orientation session onwards, or from the very get go on trust and safety in the group process. So then, if there's trust and safety, that tension becomes less and less, and we can play and then go serious, play and then go serious. But where it goes wrong is when there's not enough trust. So I haven't done that work of building the base. Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Well, look, we've got 4 minutes left. Are there any contributions anybody wants to make, or a question that you'd like to make before we finish, or just a comment on your sense of this whole area? Is it something you'd like to continue exploring in some way? Yeah, because I think, if this quote about Confucius, Kunze, if this goes back over 2,000 years, that says to me people have been interested in this question for a very, very long time. How do people really learn? And if mindfulness, sometimes people say mindfulness is caught, not taught. Well, then how do we help people catch the important dimensions of mindfulness? What's really going to help them do that? So I think it's a question that's worth all of us exploring.
Yeah, and I guess I'll go back to Carl Rogers and say, to the extent that we're real, to that extent, I think we embody that we're involved. And to that extent, the person in front of us will feel permission to involve themselves. So it all comes down to this point about embodiment and being real. And what stops us in that?
Yeah. I see a hand up, Yoga with Divya. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, sorry, that's my work name is Divya. Thank you for that. Just to that last point, I hope I wasn't interrupting your last point. That was exactly what was going through my mind. But I was just thinking about who are the people in my life who've I've learnt the most from, if I just sit here. And the two people that immediately come into my mind, exactly what you just said, it was through their truthful embodiment. So, I mean, I could just put a full stop right there. And whenever I think of one of those people, I feel something in me, much more than other teachers who may have a lot of popularity. And, that's something, that's maybe a whole other topic, because that doesn't necessarily open you up to, and in this day and age of getting people's attention, but sort of a whole, getting people interested in the first place, there's a whole disconnect there often between that whole honesty and the messages putting out, but that's maybe another topic. But what was I just? But I suppose there is a sense, if we're going to be fully truthful in ourselves and our present moment, just to bear in mind a sense of ethics there, because of course, if I am in the presence of someone who's fully embodied and truthful as a participant or an attendee, then I need to trust that too. So who are we getting in their full truthfulness? So that's that. Maybe not dark side, but it's not as it's not as, there isn't, being fully embodied doesn't automatically mean all good, right? So then how do we manage those sides? Anyway, thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Divya. Important questions. And of course we need to teach as we are. There's no, something I've learned, there's no point trying to teach like somebody else. I can't teach like him. I have to teach as I am, and you have to teach as you are. Yeah. Okay, I think we're coming to the end. Stephanie, do you want to say anything before we finish?
I will. Thank you very much, because it's time. So I just want to say a huge heartfelt thank you to both of you. That session felt very different, actually, compared to a lot of the sessions that we've run this year and last year. And I'm already coming up with ideas about bringing both of you back if you'd like to come back. And I'd love to hear from those that have joined this session today to see if you want more of the same or an extension to this, because this feels like a very different space that's been held. And beautifully held and very thought-provoking, very insightful. So thank you so much to both of you for your energy, your enthusiasm, your character is just wonderful. It's great to have you here. Thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you all. Go well.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Go well. Bye-bye.
Yeah.